through a particular tube known as YouTube, bringing you another broadcast off schedule, and seriously off schedule, and obscenely late broadcast of my little live show called Spleen Squeezins. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. I'll be straight up. I have no idea. I have no idea how well you can hear me, or how well you can hear the music, or even if you can hear the music in the background. Because for whatever reason, nothing wants to work right. The sound monitors in Minicam are saying we're not playing any music, but yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to be on. I seriously, I seriously meant to get on the air at my usual 7 o'clock, 6, at my usual time. I've started doing 7 o'clock broadcasts, but I sat down in front of my computer at about 4 or 5, and I woke up at about 8. I'm serious. It's been a rough kind of everything for the past while. Just feeling like crap. Just wanting to crawl off and die, Just feeling awful. Not feeling sick, just hate that song. Got two people in here, Mr. Cartoon Critic, Lord Firebeard, at least according to the meters. The meters don't mean anything. Can you hear the music? I don't know if you can, because none of the meters are reading right. This is not a good thing. This is not a good thing at all that I've been getting slacking off. I apologize for that. I've got way too many things to do, and okay, I'm right now. I'm pulling up Manga Studios so I can do the drawings and stuff. Finish up that. there is, when you were a kid, you probably told the Bible story about Solomon, how God offered him, basically, said, ask for anything, and I'll ask for any one thing, and I'll give it to you. And Solomon asked for wisdom, and God granted, made him the wisest man who ever lived, the wisest ruler who ever lived, and if I were in the same situation, I long ago I concluded, if I was given the same request, just one wish, if I could ask, for one thing about myself to be changed, I would, just go back and start over with one thing about myself changed. I would ask for willpower, self-control. I am a strong believer in the Calvin Coolidge school of perseverance. He said Calvin Coolidge is the one that he said, to paraphrase, he said, talent means nothing. The world is full of unappreciated talent. Genius means nothing. Education means nothing. It's perseverance is the only thing that makes anything happen. It's the only thing that encompasses any situation. It's and my whole life, I have lacked. I read about these people who do marathons and who spend hours every day. I just don't know where they get it. It's as alien to me as the dark side of the moon. I'm like, where do they get the control? Where do they get the ability to just get up again and again and again and again, even when it doesn't seem like there's any progress, even when they're losing ground? To make things happen. This, make of this what you will. People go around. When you're a child, everybody's convinced good will always triumph over evil. After 4 decades on this planet, after almost half a century on this planet, I reached the conclusion that the one who wins is the one who blinks last. The one who perseveres, good or evil, is the one that wins. This is why so many portrayals, fictional portrayals of good versus evil, good is portrayed as a simp. because most of the experience in life of those who truly claim to be, genuinely on the side of the angels, who are on the side of God and heaven, is that they're quitters. I think there's something about us that doesn't trust someone who keeps pounding away no matter what. Make that what you will. I some days I'm a whiner. I whine too much. Yeah, I'm starting to think it's the, maybe it's, just the weather and the daylight savings and all that other crap, and you know the winter sun. It's got me down. I don't know. Can you hear the music? Oh. Is there anybody there? Can you hear me? Music. Oh. I hate how my voice sounds. I really do. I really hate how my voice sounds. Sounds awful. I used when I worked in a marketing company, a voice that would be perfect. You have this marvelous, voice for radio. I'm flattered. I heard going on people. My voice just, yeah. You can hear me. You hear the music in the background. Well, the music's not playing at this very second, but the thing isn't playing. I don't know why I bother. The only time anybody mentions the music is when they say, I can't hear. Listen to that. Listen to that music sputter and just pissing off. It is. This is just grating my last nerve. I hate everything right now. I really do. I'm just so cranky right now. I've not been on my game in days, and it's killing me. I had the repair guy, the guy that I hired to do all the little fixing up around this place. I'm paying to do odd jobs. I didn't think he came to me and he had another set of things he needed to buy to do some, and I ended up having to give him more money, and I had just here and I didn't think, and now I'm like, dang it, I needed that money for. Well, I'm still. It's driven me insane. It is. I got all this crap that I'm sorry. I'm just gibbering now. I'm just gibbering now. But, had a few more commissions come in, and you know, it is you know, just enough to give you hope, kind of thing. I'm still behind I'm still behind on on several bills I owe, and falling further behind every day. And I can't seem to get everything together all in one. Can't get it all in one sock. Can't get, as I say, the old saying is, can't get can't get my shit all in one sock, is the saying. Pardon the French, which paints such a lovely mental picture. But I don't even know if James wears a tie to work. I'm drawing him in a picture with his tie on. Like, what the guy can be wearing a tie to work? I don't know. My problems, not yours. Well, there's a part of me that just wants to run around the room screaming and yelling and smashing things. And I think really the only thing keeping me from doing it is I don't have the energy. Not because I'm overworked or anything, because I just don't. I probably, I probably need to. All things considered, I probably should have, my blood checked, for things like, I don't, I haven't, just, blood iron and diabetes and sugar balance and all that other stuff. I've done it several times. I've had it done several times before, within the past year. And they're like, oh yeah, everything seems fine. I think I pissed them off. Because by all rights, I'm a huge whale of a man. And, I don't watch my diet very well. By all rights, according to their models, I should be and I have diabetics in my family. My grandparents on my father's side. So by all their models and by all the models, I should be diabetic by now. At least which is the less drastic one, type 1 or type 2. But anyway, I should be at least like type 1.5. I don't know. I'm serious because I've asked the nurses afterwards. They did my blood work. I said, yeah, and I asked, and they sort of give me this purse-lipped answer. Oh well, your sugar's fine, and. And if you looked at me, you'd probably figure that diabetes was the least of my problems. But I haven't tested. I've tested before, and I haven't tested positive for diabetes yet. So small blessings. Because I'd probably be dead. I would. I would be deader than disco. Because I would, just having to jab myself with a needle every single day, and having to test my blood every single day. And I don't know how Daniel Meyer's wife, this is, she's got, diabetes and all the advice she follows the advice and all the medical crap they give her, and it doesn't seem to help, and it's breaking her heart. And I'm like, and yet she keeps on keeping on, and Iron Woman, So her and Dan, my respect for what they get through, because I'm having trouble dealing with my lymphedema, just psychologically dealing with it, because I feel like God stuck the shaft to me. You know what I mean? I'll say it outright. I feel like God was putting a smackdown on me. Because I've spent a lot of time over my life being told I'm not living up to my potential, that I'm lazy, or that I'm not working as hard as I ought to. And now I've been hit with something that makes it virtually impossible for me to just to even physical labor. There are just some things that are now just basically physically impossible for me. All the things that I was raised by a man, by my father. He is a man who has spent most of his life, and even to this day, does most everything himself. He repairs his car himself. He repairs the plumbing himself, the wiring himself. It fixes, he's got a shed standing out back, a work shed that he built by himself within the past year. You understand, this man is hurtling towards 70, and he's got a host of physical problems too, and he's gone out there and he built it himself. And the most help I contributed was to stand there and hold the box of nails, and hand him tools. And that's the most I've ever contributed whenever he had a project he was working on. And not only a day or two. I was over there visiting one day, and I handed him crap for a couple hours, and I can fairly say he was always pretty fairly disappointed in me in how little I seemed to do for myself. This is a man when he's growing up, this guy, he was a Boy Scout. He was the ultimate self-starter, the alpha male, the type A, and me, so absolutely not. And I have a lifetime of horrible habits. I will not lie. Bad habits. Slovenly habits, and I have spent a lifetime trying to break myself of certain habits. Never succeeded. And it's only gotten worse as time goes by, and now I've reached a point where, it's no longer a matter of just working harder, because I know I physically cannot do it. At one point, I hunt down people to kids in the neighborhood to mow my lawn because I was lazy and I didn't want to do it myself. And now I have to because I can't do it myself. I couldn't do it myself years ago. That problem started ages ago when my weight started spiraling upward. But coulda, woulda, shoulda, When I was physically able, I didn't do things that I ought to be doing, and now I can't do the things I ought to be doing. And it is a source of considerable shame. And as you turn on the news, and there's the story, the guy with no legs who runs the Boston Marathon, and yeah. And I feel like the verdict's in. As hard as I'm still treading water. That's all I'm doing right now, treading water. Even as the riptide carries me out. But the verdict's in. I can't seem to take care of myself enough. I can't be counted on to take care of myself enough to live on my own like an adult. And my entire adult life, people have had to bail me out over and over and over again. And I would rather die than have to turn to my family again, beg them to help me again. But I don't know how long it's going to be before I have no choice, where I literally can't climb into my van anymore to buy my own groceries, or I can't keep the lights on, or the bills paid, or the tax man off my back, or my debts accounted for, and it's kind of killing me an inch at a time right now. It really is. And if I end up as somebody's if it finally ends up that I end up as somebody's ward or care project, and the last of my independence is gone. I feel like that would just be God finally punishing me for my failure to get my life together. You know, everybody and their cousin right now is doing reports about the dropout generation. Most of them are angry that these men are, aren't sacrificing themselves for the greater good of society. You know, just that these young men are just working just enough to keep their rent paid and their and to buy a few video game cartridges. And, it cheeses them off. In Japan, they have the phenomenon, the hikikomori. Young men and women who just basically literally seal themselves up in their rooms, in their apartments, and never venture outside. How they make a living, or how they pay for their lives. Your guess is as good as mine. But shoot, we've proven with the internet that it's possible. To make a living without ever seeing the light of day. In America, they're called the dropout generation, and it's happening all in all sorts of little places all over the world. And in America, they're trying to shame young men into being more quote-unquote productive members of society, et cetera, et cetera. The Prager University came out with a video, be a real man, get married, that kind of thing. case you haven't guessed, the shaming tactic isn't working. It's just pissing men off. Shaming is not very effective at motivating people. It'll get them moving for a little while, maybe, but I've spent days, there are days, I stand there in front of the mirror, trying to self-motivate. I realized after a while that I was trash talking myself. You're just standing in front of the mirror, you sorry good for nothing, get out there and do this, that, and the other. You've got all this, do it. And testifying personally, it doesn't seem to help. This is why there are people out there who make millions of dollars a year with these self-improvement motivational speaker programs. They go from place to place telling people, how to make themselves better people. How do you get in on that gig anyway? You ever wonder about that? How the heck do you get in on that gig? It's got to take self-confidence bordering on absolute arrogance. You come out there and you say, I can make your life better. Total stranger, you pointing your finger. I can make your life better. And and that first guy is like the guinea pig for your whole spiel, and and I guess you assume that if they don't commit suicide a year later from depression, that you succeeded. And you go on and you start talking about my success stories with my program. And I don't know. Well, think about it. Somebody's got to be the first guy to try your Dianetics or whatever and go, yes, this is the answer. Excuse me. And then you have to get enough schmucks together to go, yes, I have improved my life with the 5-step Bo Diddley Schmorgan Horkin program, In case you're wondering what I've been doing the past week, nothing. Pretty much nothing. I've been feeling like something the cat's ass dragged in. Just tired and depressed. Well, that and arm wrestling my new computer setup, getting stuff transferred over to the system. The one thing that works is the cable thing I bought. It's a cable that lets you you take an it lets you basically turn an internal hard drive into a USB port external drive, and it works Jim Dandy. Used it to transfer over my files from my old hard drive to my new hard drive. And everybody say, yay! And so, not a complete loss. In case you didn't know, I tried to upgrade my new computer because the computer, all it's got is it's a rebuild, and it's an old rebuild, and it's got an onboard, it's got one of those onboard graphic cards, and it can handle what I'm doing here, but the higher grade stuff, 3D. 3D processing, it can't handle it. In fact, it said, it popped up a little notice. Your card cannot handle the 3D processes in this program, and which has really disgruntled me because it can't play WildStar, it can't play World of Warcraft. If your computer cannot play World of Warcraft, it is old. Seriously, that's everybody needs some sort of benchmark. That's my benchmark. Because years ago, I was big in Champions, the superhero online game, Champions, and my computer could just barely. It really couldn't hack the graphics engine for Champions, and I had to set everything on minimum, and even then it was clunky. But I was so addicted to that game, I didn't care. And then one day I got bored and switched over to one of those freebie, play up to level 20 for World of Warcraft. And I logged on, I created my character and I logged on. Holy crap. Instant immersion. I can't begin to describe it. I made a dark elf druid, and boom, there my character is, and my eyes nearly popped out of my head at how rich the graphics were, and it was a bit of alarming because it dropped me right in the middle of the street in the elf village, and one of those tree giants was stumping his way up there, and my screen starts shaking, and I'm boom, 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 and the character turns around, Thankfully, it was just an NPC. So, but anyway, I could play World of Warcraft, with no trouble on that old computer. This computer cannot even handle that. This computer cannot even handle World of Warcraft graphics. And I'm like, good night. Where did they get the when they rebuilt this thing? What the heck? Even my old computer with with its own built-in graphics card could handle World of Warcraft, and this one can't. And I'm like, okay, it's a working computer. It's a working computer. It does the work. It'll work. Worky work. Whatever. It'll run the stuff. It'll run most stuff. It'll even run Netflix, but for some reason it won't handle the game graphics or the 3D processors in my Manga Studio 5. For examples. Excuse me. And since it won't handle WildStar, that's sort of grumpy, because before my old computer pooped out, I was sort of getting big into really into the online community for that game. And that doesn't sound like much, One of the things you got to know about WildStar, housing is endgame. Once your character has reached level 50, this is the joke in the online housing community for that game. is that housing is the end game content for WildStar. Uh, Basically, in the game, each of your characters gets a free lot of land. Your character gets a free lot of land, and you can build just about anything. It's unbelievable what people have created on those lots of land. If you ever play WildStar, and you get up to a certain level, you get your own free lot of land, and you can pick out your starter house and start decorating, interior, exterior, and you can start building, and just go on a tour of the houses. There's a little button at the top that lets you visit your neighbors who live in their own housing lots, and you can visit their properties and see what they've built, and your jaw will drag the floor. It's an entire community of people trading tips on how to build waterfalls or spaceships, or just you name it. My housing lots, I've done some really impressive work with them, I think. But even then, I'm just a starter, a rank amateur. There are people out there that can make the housing lots just absolutely extraordinary. Anything you can imagine, somebody will have made it. And basically, the people that are really into housing, they spend most of their time, they play the game. They go, they leave the lot to play the game in the game world, to raise gold pieces so they can buy more stuff to decorate their house with. And it is a load of fun, and I was just starting to make some really interesting stuff, and then computer decided today was a good day to die, and here I am. And I can't even log on to say howdy, because this computer can't handle WildStar. Make of that what you will. It's I hope you don't think less of me because of that. All he cares about is his game. But I've found that I use the games as what games the computer can play as a benchmark, because that tells me better than anything what kind of graphics it can handle, what kind of programs it can handle, how much computing, how much power it has, how fast it is. All the foldy roldy flirm de flame de blibber blabber that core computer builders can chatter about. I just sit there going, huh. But if they say, oh, this program can't even, if this computer can't even run Pong, I know what they're talking about. It gives me a grasp of what they're talking about, about computer programs and computer power. what the heck? Edit, undo. Why is it? I have no idea why it's doing that. Why is it not? Why are there lines on here? I have no idea why it had rulers on there. Whatever. I'll never figure this. Gonna be forever resetting stuff. Oh yeah, I got the hard drive cable thing ages ago. Got my hard drive transferred. Now, what was I thinking about? For some reason, I was thinking about how many of you watched Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, or the sequel? They're both brilliantly funny. I'll say this much. But the second one, I figured the second one was going to be really bad. Just a real cheesy, let's see how long we can milk this one approach. And but the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs Part 2, of all the names for a movie, but it was absolutely brilliant. Because what made it absolutely ingenious is that it ripped on the. You don't see this coming. You would never expect it from the trailers, but Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, it rips big time on the cult of personality surrounding people like Steve Jobs. It really does. You'd have to see it yourself to see what I'm talking about, but it's extraordinary. What does it tell us? What does it tell us about our culture? That the surest sign that a movie is good is that you don't know what you're caught by surprise because you don't see the stuff in the trailers. That's the sad thing. When they give away most of the story in the trailers, then it's obvious that it's going to be a terrible movie. Okay? Or just a blah movie. Movie makers have gotten in the habit of it's like they make movies solely for the trailers. It's like they write the trailer, then come up with the movie to fill in the spaces in between. It's formulaic, and it's bland, and it's boring, and it's so predictable. But that is what made Cloudy 2 so good is because it was, it was nothing like what you expected from the trailers. And that's what makes many of the Pixar movies excellent. Because the movies, they, even while the trailers are not misleading, just don't, just to be clear, but they don't tell you the entire story. And you're caught by surprise, and it's a pleasant surprise for a change when you go in and you see that there's more to the movie than what they showed you. Some movie producers don't seem to grasp that. Sometimes you barely even have to go to the theater to see the darn movie. You just watch the trailers and figure out what's going to happen. Yeah, saw that coming. What I consider a misleading trailer is one that promises more than the movie actually delivers. A trailer that doesn't reveal all the cars at once, gives you a hint, but you go in and there's more to the movie than what you expected. That's a proper trailer. Now, take a rest. There's only movies coming out this month that I even think I would like to see. The first one is Doctor Strange, and I'm debating on whether or not it's worth the effort of dragging my lumpen carcass down to the movie theater for that one. Or just waiting for it to come out on Netflix. Of course, they've got the Newt Scamander movie coming out. That looks like it might be good. Of course, from what I understand, J.K. Rowling's attempts to expand upon her literary universe have been kind of disappointing thus far. The stage play, Harry Potter and the Forsaken Child, is apparently a bomb. It's awful. And people have bought the screenplay as a book. They've been selling the screenplay as a book, and people have been buying it and getting refunds, That bad. So, J.K. Rowling's problem is that she's a weather vane. She retcons her story after the fact to pander to whatever the fans seem to be making the most noise. The Gubelt group, the gay, lesbian, bi, trans, whatever groups came out, call them Gubelt. Gilbert. That's how you pronounce it. Came out and started complaining because there wasn't any gay characters in Harry Potter. Some people just need smacked. Anyway, of course, she came out and well, Dumbledore is gay. And I'm like, you pandering. Seriously. And then all the fans came out and they started, and she defended, she used to defend Ron and Hermione's relationship. But then the fans came out, well, she should have gotten together with Harry, and now she's coming out, oh well, I kind of regret that, and Harry, maybe Ron should have died in the second book, I'm like, oh crap. Show a little intestinal fortitude. At least pretend you're capable of standing your ground. Crap. I'll say this much, everybody says, Harry and Hermione should have gotten together. Why? Because he was the hero of the story? Isn't that kind of anti-feminist right there? Think about it. He's the hero, he should get the girl, And I read an article that says it spelled out what I was thinking, that I couldn't quite put into words. Harry and Hermione, Harry Potter and Hermione Granger, would have been a terrible couple. Why? Because let's consider, okay, Hermione is not looking for somebody who's her equal. Okay, she's not looking for a match. She doesn't want somebody who's as smart or capable or clever as her. In fact, she's downright insecure if anybody shows her up in the least way. She doesn't want a match, she wants a foil. You know the old saying, opposites attract? There's a lot of truth to that. And that is how a lot of relationships work, is because relationships aren't about finding somebody who is identical to you in every way. It's about finding somebody who fills in the gaps that you have missing. Now, poor old Ron got poorly served by the movies. But even in the movies, it was obvious that he was her foil. He was her counterpart. Now, first off, Hermione is bossy. Hermione is bossy. She thinks she knows it all. She thinks she knows everything, and she is constantly, from the very moment she meets the boys, she's ordering them around. And here's the thing. For all the fuss he makes, Ron complies with her. He gripes and grouches and argues with her. But she manages to chivvy him along into doing what she says. Harry is the exact opposite. He'll listen to what she says and then go and do whatever the hell he wants. And it drives Hermione berserk. Secondly, people are undervaluing how good Rowling is at foreshadowing. Throughout the entire book series, it's not Harry who notices when Hermione is behaving unusually. It's Ron. Ron is the one who notices when Hermione is showing up for more classes than she could possibly attend. Ron is the one who notices, when she's behaving unusually, or when she's stressed out, or when she's angry. Ron is the one who compliments her on her genius constantly. Harry, granted, he's got a good reason for it, but he's too self-involved. He's too focused on his own problems, considerably huge problems, especially for a teenager. He's sitting there worrying about Voldemort and the Death Eaters and Dementors and all this other crap. But Ron is worrying about Hermione. And it's also of note that the dynamic between Hermione and Ron is very similar to the dynamic between Ron's mother and father. Think about it. Ron's mother, she's very, according to, canon, she was pretty, she wasn't the smartest in her class, but she was very ambitious, very driven. And her husband is he's a nice, affable underachiever. With his own interests and enthusiasms, who goes along with Molly Weasley to get along. And by and large, that's what Ron does with Hermione. They quibble a lot, but they argue a lot. This is an interesting point somebody made about couples that argue a lot. Couples argue a lot because they care. Because what the other person thinks or feels or says matters to them. This is why you see this is what I say, like arguing like an old married couple. Hello? Think about it. Couples that argue a lot aren't necessarily a sign of a troubled relationship. In fact, they're often a sign of a strong relationship, one that can withstand the occasional squabble or two. And think about it, and think about when in the ball during the fourth year, who was it that got jealous? Ron did. Ron, Harry was obviously stunned by how pretty Hermione was, but it was Ron who was put completely off his feed by the fact that she was, had turned into this beautiful social butterfly and was being fawned on by one and all, and he was actually paying, throughout the books, Ron was the one paying attention to Hermione. He was the one who cared about Hermione's relationship. The problem is that most people get their impression of Ron and Hermione and other characters from the movies, not from the books. In the books, Ron was not the cowardly comic relief. Ron was, he was the deadpan snarker. He was the practical one. He was the Joe Average from, he was the wizarding community commoner. He was the native guide. He was also the practical minded one, the one who wasn't either a genius or a celebrity. And it's tragic that so many fans and writers give him short shrift because Rupert Grint portrayed him as a twit. Crying shame, really. Really crying shame. That's the thing of it, though. I have to, even though I have problems with his portrayal of Ron Weasley, it really wasn't his fault. It was the directors who ordered him around and basically turned his character into a cowardly clown. And they took all the, and it was the directors who took all of Ron's best lines and best moments and gave them to Hermione. Because girl power and all that other crap. But, I'm looking for the folder with the old Vic in it, and I'm not finding it. I'm gonna have to dig out that old hard drive and do another run through again, check for it again. Where's the commissions folder? I know I transferred the commissions folder over. Okay, I apparently missed something when I probably missed a couple of folders when I transferred them over. Oh well, what a pain in the butt. Website. Where is my commissions folder? Okay, and now I can't find my folders. Oh, this is ridiculous. Great, now I'm missing shit. Pardon my language. This never gets better, this is just Jim freaking Dandy. Stories. Well, there's my story file. I have a little trouble finding some folders in this thing. Well, that's what I got the transfer cable for. Oh, well, I'll worry about it later. Right now, file, save. I read when I was reading one fanfic earlier, Harry Potter fan fiction. Man, this author in particular just the idea is that Harry gets dragged to an alternate dimension where his family is still alive. General theme. But this author wallows in angst and suffering. I mean, every chapter was about just brutality. Harry Potter. Every chapter featured Harry Potter crying or bleeding or puking. Crying blood, puking blood. And if I looked closely enough, I could probably find an instance of him puke. And canonical Harry is just it's like they took a Dickensian novel and cranked it up to 11 and then gave it downers because it was too cheery. I'm wondering, after Newt Scamander movie comes out, whether we're going to see some fan fictions expanding further out into the Harry Potter universe. Mm. Right now, I've got more immediate concerns. Uh, Doggone it, I'm gonna have to dig around and dig around and dig around. And just be digging around trying to find, get all these folders organized. I thought I had them organized. Start out. So this one, supposed to be a one benefit of having to set up a new computer is that at least all my files will be organized. And guess what? Not 5 minutes. Just not 2 days into this, and here it is, and I can't find crap. It's like. Look, I'm always taking commissions. Don't bother asking, are you taking commissions? The answer is yes. Yes, please, actually. And so, if you got a commission you want, just go to my website, and there, and right on the front page is a thing where you can, the simplest thing, $10 black and white commission. I'm doing those to wing long, and right now I'm working on computer. Come on, computer. And right now I'm working on a commissioned comic strip here, so for Daniel Meyer. So, where's the here we go. There we go. I need him. I need money. I will do cheesecake, just so you know. We'll do cheesecake. Have done cheesecake. So if you're wanting a cheesecakey black and white drawing, I'm your guy. I also do cameos and comic strips. Those are going to be slow coming, because I will be honest about that. I'm trying to get ahead of the curve on my rent, on my lot rent, and on my taxes. I am behind by 2 months. I was already behind on my lot rent, but I don't even want to say how much. But I've fallen behind. I haven't made a payment in 2 months now. I have got to get some more money in, so I will do your commission. Ask. I'm trying to get myself on a regular production schedule. Trying to it's just so. The objective is that I'm going to be doing the show. The objective is that I'll be doing the show at least 5 days a week and working on drawings and artwork whenever I'm on. That I run the show for about 3 or 4 hours each day. The election's in 2 days. Well, actually, it's the day after tomorrow. And, oh Lord. I don't know about you. But, I have not been able to be confident, and even what does it tell you? Ever since the Bush versus Gore campaign, ever since that, I have been unable to have any confidence in the outcome of an election. That once the election is over, everything will be fine. Or that once the election is over, it'll be. Look, I remember that. I remember brilliantly how it went. Bush won. It's very simple. President George Herbert Walker Bush Jr. won the election. He won it handily. And Albert Gore and the party of the Klan, the party of cowardice, the party of communism, the Democrat Party, threw a temper tantrum and demanded a recount. I want you to think about this. Al Gore threw the entire nation in disarray for months because he refused to believe that he lost. We did a count, and it's proven. We did a count, he lost. We did a recount, he lost. We did a recount. He lost that one too. 3, 4, 5 counts. Until finally the Supreme Court had to step in and say, this is bullcrap. This is because the final attempt at a recount, they were changing the rules they were breaking the law. In fact, the Democrats were trying to change how the counts were tallied. And the Supreme Court came in. It was with the Florida Supreme Court, actually. It came in and said, no, this is the law. You're not going to pull that crap. Bush won the election. And ever since then, the Democrats have been, he cheated, he stole the election, They're like a tantrum-throwing child at a company picnic who's lost the race and is stamping and throwing and kicking his feet because the other kid got the trophy and he didn't. Do you realize what a bitch you have to be to lose? I mean, clearly lose an election. And to keep trying to insist you won literally decades after the fact. And ever since then, I have never been able to rest easy because I have known that there is nothing the Democrats won't stoop to. And what they won't stoop to for power. This is why the year 2000 was a cold. This is the reason why so many people were restless during the Y2K when the year 2000 turned over, because many people suspected, with good reason, that the Democrat Party might try and pull some shenanigans, claim a military claim a national emergency and declare military law, or worse. And people say, "Oh, that's ridiculous." This is nothing compared to the stuff they've done before. They have, they nothing of destroying this country to get what they want. And I'm looking at this election and what Hillary has been willing to stoop to. This woman should not even be in the running. She has broken dozens. It's not even a matter of whether or not if she did. She's not even a suspect. Everybody knows she did it. She's a known felon. And yet she still stands a good chance of gaining the most powerful position in the world. She is literally just a margin of error away. She is so close to getting her hands on the nuclear football. Think about that. This woman, who I would not trust alone with the family silverware or any of my nieces or even any of the family pets, this monstrous woman is inches from power. And we have a depraved president and a depraved presidential candidate conspiring together to get her into power. And I would not put it past the likes of Obama in the least. That mecha bobbing bird would stoop to anything, just as fast as Hillary would. And so we're spending the next few days wondering not who's going to win the election, but whether or not the loser is going to try and declare a military coup. Every Democrat politician and candidate has been more depraved than the last. People like to talk about how Hitler was elected. No, he wasn't. He was not elected to his final position. He was not elected into power. He was an elected official. But he was given emergency powers by committee, basically. In other words, those in power circumvented the laws of the nation to put Hitler on his little throne. It's dark times. And I'm a little tired of people telling me, oh, just have faith. Just have faith. People have had faith for thousands of years. That hasn't stopped them from being burned at the stake, or beheaded, or thrown to the lions, or thrown into concentration camps. Have all the faith you want. Have all the faith God will give you. But load your gun. Oh, God will see you through. Jesus will see you through. Maybe. But whether you come out the other side as a victor or as a mere survivor depends entirely on you. Decide now, do you want to be a victor or a martyr? Take my words for what they're worth. I'm just a loser. I'm just a food stamp sucking loser, living in a rotting trailer, in a trailer park out in the middle of the boonies in Ohio. I'm no saint. I'm no martyr. I'm no hero. I'm a Christian, but I'm barely worthy of being called that, save only by the grace of Jesus Christ. There is no virtue in me. And I would be a disappointment and a shame in most people's eyes. But I know what's happening. And I've seen it. And all I can do, is raise the hue and cry. You decide whether to look up and see what the dog's barking at. I want you to ponder the fact that right now, everybody's worried about the Muslims coming over the border and Muslim terrorists out on the street, but you realize that the Obama administration has appointed more Muslims to positions of authority and power in our country than ever before in American history. Hillary and Obama both have Iranian advisors at their elbow at all times. it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious right now. Trump is going to win this election by a landslide. The question is whether or not it's going to matter. Whether the people in power are going to abide by the last vestiges of the law and hand over the reins of power, or whether they are going to pull one last dirty trick. There have already been assassination attempts against Trump. They hate him. They absolutely hate him. Of course, anybody running under the Republican name, they would have hated him just as virulently. It says something that the Republican establishment hates him too. I'm afraid, and I'm a little tired of being afraid. And I feel impotent. I feel worse than powerless. Like I have just enough mobility, just enough capability to look like I should be able to do something. Do you follow what I'm saying? You know, you'll forgive a man for having, a man with his legs cut off. You'll forgive a man who has, his legs cut off for not getting up and walking across the room. But a man whose legs don't work right, for whom a walk across a building is an ordeal. Uh, you know, not quite so forgiving, are we? And there's a part of me that refuses to accept that I'm legitimately handicapped. By any reasonable measure, I am. And I have not made the first steps in applying for handicap status. That's the thing. Because there's some part of me that still refuses to believe that, well, hey, I can still get up and walk. But it takes me an effort to cross a room. And that's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. You're broken enough to not be able to do something, but you're not broken enough to call yourself handicapped. Is what I'm saying. But that feeling extends beyond my physical conditions. Like, you can make a difference. You can vote. Really. Really. I can make a difference by voting. That's nice. That's a lovely sentiment. And I will vote. I will drag my half-crippled ass to the voting booths on November 8th. And I will vote. But we've already caught, all over this nation, we have had incident after incident after incident of people being caught burning ballots, early voting ballots, frequently filling them out, burying them, throwing them away, altering them. They've caught some of these electronic voting machines altering votes as they go in, flipping them back over to the Democrat side. And it's always the Democrats. They are yet to have a single incident of people committing voter fraud in favor of the Republicans. That is not a lie. That is the truth. They have, if they had one incident like that, it would be on every news station within the hour. But there are people in just Chicago alone who've basically neutralized the legitimate votes of millions of people. I can vote, but my vote basically consists of a wish. I might as well be throwing a penny in a wishing well. And I'm throwing my vote in and praying that nobody in the poll station decides that my vote needs to be ripped up, or that somebody won't steal the votes and alter them, or that they won't rewind, or that one of those corrupt voting machines isn't going to be sitting there waiting for me to try and trick me into voting Hillary. or that they simply won't count my vote for some reason. A vote has become an excuse. It's become a way of pretending that you've contributed. Stalin said it. The people who vote don't count. The people who count the votes are the ones that count. In the end of the day, a vote is all our votes are just spit in the ocean. And the only reason that we keep voting is the dwindling hope that the people who count the votes will at least pretend to obey the law one more time. And this is the damnation of it, is that no matter how small you are, no matter how impotent you are, no matter how poor you are, no matter how crippled you are, no matter how helpless you really actually are, there is a Western culture cultivated voice that keeps saying you should have done something, even when you are in a position where you literally cannot do anything, or you've done, everything that lies within your grasp, and that's it. That's all that you had, and it wasn't enough. There's never any real advice what you're supposed to do in such circumstances. Yes, I know we're supposed to leave it in the hands of God, but what do you do in the meanwhile? I'm not being facetious. I mean, think about it. Turn it all and you sit there, what am I supposed to do? Supposed to sit there twiddle my thumbs while I wait for the outcome? Well, you just told me that you just demonstrated that my productive efforts consist of a child on air flapping his arms because he thinks that makes the plane fly faster. So, what am I supposed to be doing in the meanwhile? Because going on as if, keep calm and carry on sounds nice. But if you aren't ready to duck and cover when the balloon, if you aren't ready to duck and cover when the bombs start falling. And when it all goes to, they say, why didn't you do something? Like I did. I really don't know where I'm going with this. I don't. Right now, in so many ways, I don't feel like I have any control over any aspect of my life, of my culture, of my country, and I might as well be yelling at a brick wall. And the most I can seem to do is point out the coming storm and give what little advice I know to people who can run for it, who can try and prepare for the inevitable. Okay, it is 11 o'clock. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it night because I'm probably acting as a vector for chronic depression here. So, you all take care of yourselves. Please toss me, go by my website. check out my stuff, www.rhjunior.com. Order a commission, make a donation, make a pledge, buy a DVD, buy a book, because I'm sort of treading water here, and I'm running out of steam. So every little bit helps, please. I'll catch you all tomorrow. I will try and get on the air, or on the web, or, does that saying still count, get on the air? Because I'm not broadcasting over the air, I'm broadcasting over the internet. Should I say just get on the web? I'll try and get on the web again tomorrow at an earlier time, get more time in, get more work done, get some of your commissions, some of those stacked commissions that you've already sent in will do. And we'll go from there. Now, you all take care of yourselves. And, okay, Freedy Firecaster, thank you for your commission, then. You all take care of yourselves, and I will see you tomorrow. And say a prayer for me if you get a chance, because God knows I need all the help I can get. Good night.